Hello, this is Lance. I just want to make a video real quick of my 2000 Blazer. I've been doing an audio system too. I basically gutted the whole thing, redid the interior, sound deadened everything, floor to ceiling, painted. I have 3 more bats going back there and 2 caps of ultra power, or 2 banks of ultra power caps. There's the 3 runs I just ran from the hood back under the carpet because my wire was a little too short. But basically what I wanted to do was tell you, if you wanted to upgrade to the 8244, which I've done just now, and the big 3, that first off, the alternator needs a bigger belt, and I just wanted to give everybody the belt size first. We'll get to that. Belt fits perfect for the ADs, the large case GM alternators, the 145 amperage output. But let's get back to this. I wanted to show people what I did with my big 3. So I run a power from the back along with the original wire that was there over to the battery right here, and it goes to the battery post. And then of course I've got a wire for one of my 3 runs, which I've got 2 more right here I need to hook up eventually. But I ran a ground from the battery down to the frame, and then I ran a ground from the battery over to the alt casing, and then from the alt casing I ran a ground, which is red because I ran out of black wire, you can see it right there, down to the frame as well. And then my original ground from the battery is still attached down there at the bottom. Can't really see it, but that shiny black is where I've painted over where that was. So I just wanted to show you, this is actually the big 5. I took the big 3 and made it a big 4. And then on top of that, I went ahead and made it the big 5, which is a battery to the alternator to the ground, and then block on the motor to the ground. So you see power wire going to power on the battery, and then you see the power wire going off to a fuse, which will have 2 more up there, nice and pretty. I'll build a little box and bolt them to it so they're straight and it looks good. And then for the ground on the battery, we've got a new 1/0 gauge wire going to the chassis, and then we've got one going right here across to the alternator, and then from the alternator I've got another one right here, if you can see that right there, going down to the frame. And here's where the work came in, is I drilled, at first I grinded a big spot, probably 4 inches by 6 inches, bare metal, as shiny as possible, took acetone, cleaned it, took a degreaser, cleaned that off, drilled the holes 3/8, actually 5/16 I think, and then tapped them to 3/8, and then got 3/8 bolts, and ordered 2-0 lugs for the wire connectors. I got those from Windy Nations off eBay. I got a pack of 50 for $39.99, which was pretty cool. And now they're giving out stickers for Windy Nation, which is their company's name, decal to put on your car, which I thought would go good with hair tricks and stuff like that. I gave them that little idea and they ran with it. So they'll be offering decals now when you make orders. So I put tape over the holes 1 inch by 2 inches, and then painted the frame black, and then waited for it to dry. I pulled the tape off, which left me a good solid connection, bare metal, for the lugs. Then I reconnected the lugs, bolted them down nice and tight right here. And after I got it, and I've got an extra because I'm putting another alternator over there. You can actually take the AC pump off and build angle brackets and bolt on another 8244 and just get a bigger belt. But that's going to be the ground for that one. After I bolted them on pretty good and tight, I went ahead and sprayed them black, all of it, to keep it from corroding. And then I clear coated it, which, I mean, it's not the prettiest, but it's effective, and that's what I'm going for, is cost effective. Now I'm jumping back to the rear, and I got these wires left. That's going to be my grounds. So I'll have four batteries hooked up to these 3 runs. I just ordered the aluminum bars, so I'm going to have 4 batteries to right about here, 2 banks of caps sideways over there. And yeah, I'll hook up bus bars across the top of the batteries. I'll have 1 bus plate on top of the caps over here, and then I'll run it out to my grounds, which I'm going to cut holes now in the carpet right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grounds in the back, just to be safe. And that should do future builds with the second alternator, and then I can even order 2 more alternators that and scrap the 8244s if I have to. I'm figuring on running in the 4K class, 2 to 4K, so I shouldn't really need that much. I mean, 250 amps would be plenty for a 30-second burp, or a 10-second burp, sorry, from what I'm figuring. But if I need more, I can always scrap one of my alts and buy a bigger one. But yeah, I'll be doing the same thing. Those wires will be coming out right here, and then I'm gonna drill little holes right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put wire holders so that they actually stay away from the tire. And then I'll grind all this. I'll probably cut this up a little bit right here and grind all that out, and I'll drill my 5 holes, and then I'll tap them. Then I'll cover them with tape the same way, 2 inches by about 6 inches, spray all around it, bolt my lugs on there, and then spray on top of them again. And then I'll do it my next update video. This is probably the 3rd video I've done on this truck, and you can go through my videos and look if you want. It's been a lot of work, and I haven't finished the back door panels yet, but this is, I mean, I've got sound deadening, I've got the mat, and then I've got this stuff right here on top of it, just because I was still getting a little bit of rattle with some stuff in here, and that seemed to get rid of it. And then there was some parts I didn't feel like were solid enough, so I put a little more mat on top of it, you know. But I mean, sound quality, it's great. There's the other door, the front doors are the same way, and then there's mat on the inside of the door, and then I put some of this on top of it as well. This stuff is great to go over, like the bars right here that go to the lock itself, because if you put this mat on top of those bars, it'll stick to them and they won't be able to move, and you end up breaking something. So this mat right here is super awesome for that. And I'll show you a little preview. It's under all the bottom too. The whole floor is done in it, and then there's some mat on it as well. And that'll help keep, because the exhaust runs on the passenger side. So I've got the fireproof mat down there. Then I've got sound deadening on top. Well, I got sound deadening under it. Then the fireproof mat, and then this rubber foam, and then the carpet, which should help keep the heat down on these wires. And when all's said and done, I'm probably gonna run one run of 2.0 to the second alt casing ground, just to make it a complete circuit, which is why I did that with the battery. I mean, all the research I did on YouTube looking at stuff, they always mention running a ground from the alternator to the battery negative, and that makes it a complete circuit. I've got the positive going to the battery, and I've got the negative going to the battery, and then I've also got a 1-0 ground of negative or wire going to the chassis, and the same on the alternator. So I mean, this is one big ass circuit, and it should do pretty good. I'm holding 14 right now with headlights on. Cold, a little over 14. I'm guessing about 14.8, 14.9, somewhere in there. But I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get this finished. I'm about to put the tire back on. I've got it lugged, but it ain't tight, so I'm gonna drop it, and I'm gonna get off here so I can go ahead and finish that. But boom, thank you YouTube for teaching me how